All right, so the detective riddle for today, the empty cell mystery. Don't look it up. Andy is put in a cell with a dirt floor and only one window. The window is too high for him to reach. The only thing in the cell is a shovel. He won't be able to get any food or water and only has 2 days to escape, or he'll die. Andy cannot dig a tunnel because it will take him much longer than 2 days to do it. So how will he escape from the cell? Well, I mean, that's the riddle. So any guesses?
Getting a pile of dirt, puts it in the top of it, gets to the window.
Anything else?
I was thinking that he puts the shovel down and uses it as a step stool.
Okay.
What Jackson said after he gets up on the top of the window, gets the shovel, and breaks the iron bar with the shovel.
So that, I was looking this up too. This picture is kind of deceiving because it doesn't tell you that it's hard. It just says there's a window. So yes, he puts a pile of dirt and climbs on the dirt, pops up. It makes a pile of dirt. So, thank you, nodded and said yes. So. All right. So I'm gonna see how long it takes y'all to figure these out as we go through. But the picture is deceiving though, because the iron. But then I was like you. I was like, wait a minute. He's got to get through the iron bars. So I was kind of trying to process it myself. But yeah. All right. So today we're going to continue to look at characterization and point of view, and so we'll still talk about the murder detective part. We're going to start with Agatha Christie's biography notes on page 114 of your interactive notebook. So you'll just flip the page from our Sherlock Holmes stuff. So we're going to look at notes with her. Now, on my website, if you want to get your Chromebooks out, on my website, these are posted under the modern and postmodern part, where you found Sherlock Holmes and Adventure of the Speckled Band. So on the website, you have these notes as well. Yes. Has anybody read anything by Agatha Christie? Murder on the Orient Express is what we're going to. She's written over 70 novels, detective novels. So she has 2 main characters. But just like Sir Doyle has Sherlock Holmes, she has 2 main characters that she bases all of her stuff around. So start with her early years. She was born in 1890 in Turcoing, Devon. This was part of the United Kingdom, okay? So the southwest part of the UK. September 15th. But you should fill that part in. You can unplug the pencil sharpener. She was the youngest child of an American father and a British mother. Okay? American father and a British mother. Then she was educated at home because her mother didn't approve of public education. And then later she went to Paris, France to continue learning. Now, moving into her adulthood, she married Colonel Archibald Christie, where she gets her name from, in 1914. And then in 1919, they only have one kid. She only has one kid, period, because she remarries. But Rosalind Hicks, she has one child, it's a daughter, Rosalind. Now, she becomes a nurse during World War I. Okay, so after she marries Mr. Christie, then she becomes a nurse. Okay, he's a colonel, so he's in the military. So when they go to war, she takes up and becomes a nurse during World War I. She published her first book in 1920 called The Mysterious Affair at Styles. And this is her main detective, Hercule Poirot. He's a Belgian detective. Okay? That's one of her most famous characters. She's got two of them, Hercule, and then we'll see Miss Jane in a minute. All right. Marriage number 2. So 1926, so 7 years, she mysteriously disappeared for 10 days. And this is when she found out that her husband was having an affair with another woman, and her mom died at the same time. She found this out at the same time. So her mother passes, and then she also finds out that her husband is having an affair with another woman. So she disappears for 10 days. And she finally is found by the police at a hotel under her husband's mistress's name. So the woman he was cheating with, she went into a hotel under that woman's name. So that kind of proved to her husband that she knew and all that stuff. But they found her 10 days later. So after her divorce, she married Max Mallory in 1930. So 4 years later. In that same year, the novel Murder at the Vicarage introduced readers to another character, Miss Jane Marple. So she's got two main detective characters, a male and a female. Kind of hard to read up. And this is Max, the second husband. This picture, it blew it up right here, but there's two big stacks of books beside her. So, pretty cool. So she had a phenomenal career as a writer in crime stories. A lot of that came from the stories told by her mother and her sisters, because she was the youngest child. So that just intrigued her. And that's why she was the mystery writer. She wrote more than 70 novels. Okay? If you do research, you'll find those numbers vary. That's why it says more than, because some places like say there's only 16 detective novels and 15 or what, or 66 detective novels, and they categorize the other ones as something else. So it depends on where you look if you look through your research on her. But 14 short stories and 17 plays. And then she earned the titles Queen of Crime and Queen of Mystery. So her two titles there. Her books have sold over 1 billion copies, only to be outsold by Shakespeare and the Bible. Okay. In 1971, she was awarded England's highest honor and became a Dame of the British Empire. Who was the monarch at that time?
Philip,
Elizabeth,
Elizabeth.
the one that's there now. Yeah. She's been there over 50 years. So, that's the medal they get, one of the emblems. And then she died 5 years later in January of 1976. So, questions? You all have that? All right, so we did the riddle. We did that. Now, we're going to watch a little bit of the Orient Express, and then we'll answer those questions on page 114. So, we're going to start this. Now, I'm going to go ahead and point this out to you. So, as we watch, on page 117, you have a character connections chart. So as they go through, you're going to need to know who is connected to who and why. Okay? Does that make sense? So that's kind of like a little notes section for you, and then we'll go over it. But as they go through the movie, you'll need to know who is connected to who on the train and why that's important. Okay? Does that make sense? In doing my research on the movie, apparently it's kind of vague at the end. It's been a while since I've seen it, but about how they're all related. There's some connection. Okay, so just wanted to point that out to you so that way when we start to the movie, you flip to page 2 and you're like, what? Like, wait a minute, I can't remember. So just as we go through, we'll need to know who is connected to who and how in the movie. Okay? No. What's that? All right, so we're going to stop there. So, number 1, how does he end up on the Orient Express?
Another case.
He's got an investigative case, would you say, Greg? Good. So he cuts his holiday, or that's what they say for vacation, he cuts that short to investigate a case. Okay? Any questions? So we will pick up there tomorrow.